YouTube, what is good? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we are going to be going over my tips and tricks for the NFL draft mode, and honestly you guys can apply this to any MUT draft mode that we potentially get for the rest of the year until Madden 26, and probably honestly even in Madden 26. So I do think this video would actually be very useful for you guys. Now, of course, before we get into it, like I always say before every video, man, if it does help you out in any way, shape, or form, if you're entertained in any way, make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe as we're on the road to 4,000 subscribers, man. We are on that grind to 4,000 subscribers, trying to get there before, you feel what I'm saying, before Madden 26. Roll that momentum into Madden 26 for y'all boys, man. But lo and behold, let's go ahead and get into my tips that I have for you guys when it comes to the MUT draft. So the first tip that I have for you guys, and they actually gave me the Chiefs offense. Hey, Chiefs offense is one of my favorite playbooks in the game, which ironically, we're going to be dropping an ebook on it very soon. I know I've been saying that for a while, but I'm just going to go ahead and knock it out. But besides the point, when you guys are looking at this on the very first screen, what you guys are going to want to do, let me go ahead and pull up the website here now. You're going to want to go to huddle.gg/playbooks. Again, I said this in the most recent video that we did make about the draft mode, but you guys can go over here and basically be able to see what all play calls they have in here. Whether, you know, if you guys run certain offenses like in regular MUT, you can kind of see if they have those similar play calls, or you can kind of see, you know, what playbooks you'll be more comfortable to go into, and you just kind of learn more about playbooks and just know which ones are good versus not for your specific play style. So first things first, before anything, when you're in this coach round, pick the playbook that you guys are going to want to get and use this website. I'm telling you, it will help you a ton rather than just picking randomly and just hoping that the play calls are there. You know exactly what you're getting out of each and every playbook that you guys pick in the mode. Now, the second thing that we're going to kind of talk about here is when you guys are going in your quarterback round, and again, I still don't really understand how some of these rounds work versus how they do, because sometimes I get double, and I've even heard people getting triple quarterback rounds. But besides the point, let's talk about specifically quarterbacks. You guys are going to want to pick just the best quarterback. It's really no other way about it, and obviously this is an easy choice. We're going to go Pastronaut. All these other two really not that good, so we're going to go Pastronaut. That's a very easy pick there. Now, when it comes to these skill positions, at least how I like to play, I like to always get you should have at least 2 wide receivers. Typically I go 3, but at minimum you should have 2. And there's a specific reason for that we'll talk about here later. But I typically just go for speed. Whoever's the fastest on the field and like the blend of tallest, that's kind of what I go for. So right here, Ricky Pearsall, 6'1", 97 speed. I don't need to see anything much else. It's a pretty easy choice. You just go pick your wide receivers, right? Same thing right here. Again, I usually choose the fastest receiver. Again, we have a tight end, Marcus Stroud, 92 speed. We do have the option to have 97 Jamal Charles. Now, this could be a good option for you guys if you guys really like running the ball. Again, I don't really run the ball very much. I like passing a lot. So more than likely, I will go Devontae Adams. But just for this standpoint, I know a lot of you guys do like running the ball. I'll go pick Jamal Charles, right? The next thing, again, this is also something else we could kind of go for. You have Vernon Davis, you have AJ Brown. It is completely up to you guys which one you would want. Since I don't have a second wide receiver, I'm going to go ahead and lock that in and get the wide receiver. But you also can't go wrong with Vernon Davis. But you also don't want to double up on your running backs, because again, most of the time you're only going to have one running back on the field at a time. So it makes more sense to go pick wide receiver or tight end. Again, in this case, I'm going to go wide receiver just so that I can lock that up. Now, let's talk about the defensive side of the ball, okay? What I like to do is, at minimum, I like to get at least a user, whether that is a strong safety, a free safety, or a middle linebacker. Because most of the time, if it's an outside linebacker, it's probably going to be a pass rusher. At least this Logan Wilson is a pass rusher, but he's kind of slow, so we don't go get him. Now, I do see Chop Robinson. That is pretty, you know what I'm saying? That is pretty enticing. I do like having a good user, though. But we're going to go with Chop Robinson. And again, I will explain why, so that we can have good pass rush. So see, as I mentioned before, we have the option to go get one of these safeties that we can sub in to be our user. And that pretty much means, hey, we're going to choose this Jordan Battle, and that's what we're going to go for. Again, you have a certain amount of offensive versus defensive rounds, and now we also get a very good draft right here. I don't really know, but what I do know, well, not that I don't really know. We're going to go Dontari Poe. Now we're going to have 2 pass rushers that's going to get after. I have Chop Robinson and Dontari Poe because the pass rushers they already give you are actually pretty decent because, again, we don't get any offensive line upgrades. We're going to be just screaming at the quarterback here. Now, the reason why we didn't really pick DBs and they gave us a second quarterback round, y'all got to fix this, EA. There's no reason I should be getting a second quarterback round because I should be getting at least a tight end right here. But besides the point, it doesn't really matter. I mean, we could go stall back, I guess, but it doesn't really matter because we got double tight end rounds. Now, let's talk about our defensive backs, okay? Because Jordan Battle, we know, is going to be our user. Now, we also have the opportunity here to go get Byron Jones or get Elijah Molden or even Cam Chancellor if you want. Now, the thing with this mode, there isn't very many abilities, so I feel like having taller players doesn't really matter as much. So, you guys remember how we kind of talked about, hey, when you go pick your wide receivers, you pick wide receivers that are pretty fast. The reason why you do this is because you can sub out your wide receivers and put them in at cornerback. Not sub them out, but you can sub them in at cornerback. I know that sounds kind of crazy. They're going to be like 12 overalls at cornerback, but the same speed that they have on offense, they get on defense. There's really no like discrepancy there. There's no penalty, I should say. So if you have a 97 6'1" wide receiver, you have a 97 speed 6'1" cornerback basically. And from when I played, they've actually played pretty good. So you basically have 2 cornerbacks for free that you don't even have to necessarily go get. Now, for me, I'm going to go Elijah Molden. Again, that is 5'10". And this actually is a good draft right here. I'm actually very satisfied with what we got. And that's basically what we're going to do. Now, the next tip we're going to go into, we're actually going to hop into a game, but I'm just going to show you guys what I mean and how easy this is, right? So the next tip that we're going to talk about is if you get a draft that you don't like I just got a double quarterback round, this is a free entry mode. So you literally can go in here as soon as you hop in the game. You do have to kick the ball off, but you can quit out of games and redraft. You don't have to, you're not locked into the team. You didn't spend, 10,000 coins to lock this team up. If you don't like the team, if you don't like the rounds that you got, and you just don't like the team overall that you can get, again, you can't pause the game until you do kick it off or your opponent kicks it off. But you can do that, and essentially that's what I'm going to do here. This dude's going to get a free win. Shout out King Zuri, you get your free dub. But all that to say, you guys do not have to waste time on a draft that you do not like. If you didn't get a playbook you liked, if you didn't get a certain round that you like, again, I got double quarterbacks. I don't want double quarterbacks, so I'm going to quit out. Again, there is no penalty for doing this. You don't have to do that. And basically, you can just redraft again and hope for a better draft. It is totally okay. Again, low risk, no risk, basically. And you can easily just hop back in here and do another draft. I can load this back up. I can choose, okay, I like the Eagles offense. I like the Eagles defense. We then go back through here again. Again, out of these guys, I like Jaden Daniels. Peyton Manning is also really good because you do get protected. Actually, as crazy as it sounds, I'm going to go get Peyton Manning. You can't pass that up with the abilities and everything like that. Same sort of thing right here. Nico Collins gets 2 abilities, 6'4", 95 speed. We go pick him. Again, I don't want to go back through here again and explain what we just kind of went through, but you can apply the same sort of thing. And I do like this draft just that little bit more where we have Vernon Davis. We have our 2 wide receivers already. We have a good user now. We can then put one of these safeties at their true safety position rather than having a user, right? We get a pass rusher here. Again, we'll probably put Zach Sealer. Again, we'll go back. We'll get AJ Brown because we did, if you end up getting a fusion card too, that's also something interesting. You can sub your fusion cards in on defense as well. But besides the point, we're getting our 3rd wide receiver here. And I do like this draft a lot more just from the standpoint because we did get better cards. Again, this card has lurk artists, so maybe if we didn't get Jack Gibbons, it would have made more sense. But we do need a pass rusher. We're going to need another pass rusher. I think DeMarcus Ware is the move here. And that's just an overall better draft. You feel what I'm saying? So that is going to make it to where, hey, I like this draft a little more. I'm more confident and I can go in here and have some more fun. So if you apply all these tips that I gave you, and again, this had nothing to do with gameplay. If you just apply all of what I said and you go watch the video that we had, you know, kind of going over what each of the gameplay tips that I have for you guys, if you guys go watch the full draft that we did, you can kind of combine that, and I'm sure you guys will go in here and start winning more games, maybe even completing runs if you weren't already completing them. So that is going to wrap up the video today, boys. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. Again, hopefully it did help you. Hopefully you learned something today as well, just of what we can do. So again, we're on that road to 4,000 subs, man. If you guys enjoyed it, if you guys found it helpful, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe, man. We'll see you guys in the next video, boys. We'll catch y'all. Peace.